Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, it appears that Silver Palace is taking on a similar approach to other gacha games in the space when it comes to surveys. And there's apparently a lot of them. And this is just one of the first surveys that's going to be available in the closed beta test 2. And as you can see, they're asking some pretty interesting questions. What we're going to be doing today is taking a look at what types of questions are these developers asking, what are some of the biggest issues that are probably in the game right now, and of course, going from there to really just, get the intention behind these guys. Because the setup for this is Silver Palace releasing one of the worst gacha systems I think I've ever seen in their closed beta test 2, with a 100 pull pity, no 50-50. It's a 25-75 for the rate up character instead. That's what I'm led to believe. A 50-50 on the weapon banner, and basically just a lot of stuff that looks a little bit icky under the scenes. And also a lot of deception too from the developers themselves, because they'll say featured characters, right, have increased draw rates, and then you see a little bit later on. Wait a second. Sorry, let me pull up the exact message specifically that I'm looking for. Here we go. All right, so this is the place where we can see that there's a bit of deception going on, right? These guys said that featured characters are rated up, but you only see this 50-50 over here showing up for the 4 stars. You don't see it showing up for the 5 stars. And so this is kind of like the end result, guys. This is kind of like the unfortunate thing going on over here. Right? They're kind of lying. They're kind of being deceptive, because that featured rate up, it only applies to, well, not the reason why people are pulling on the banner if it's the 4-star characters most of the time. So the end result kind of is, the devs have already put forward kind of like a shady hand when it comes to what they put into the beta, and I'm wondering, are we gonna see a similar level of, like, weirdness in the survey? Let's go ahead. Let's start looking at some of the questions. All right, so the first one over here just looks like it's taking a look at your current reputation level. This is basically your UL in that game, your adventure rank, blah, 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 just to see where I guess people are. I think it's kind of interesting to have like a question like this on like day 1, where the actual game went live like 8 or 9 hours ago. But maybe this is just a question that they're going to be asking on every single survey. This also does call into question why people are getting 5 surveys on day 1 of the game, but it is what it is. All right, next question is, based on your experience so far, how satisfied are you overall with the game? People are free to answer this one as they wish. I don't think that there's anything too crazy just yet. Then you're going to get the question, how satisfied are you with the following aspects? Here we go. So first, you got overall game quality. That's the same exact question that was just listed over here. So I can already start to see some interesting phrasing, some interesting options in this survey, because this is literally just the same exact thing as this. Is it not? I'm not super sure. Then you got lore settings, theme and art style, story and narrative, character design, and then gacha and character progression. Ladies and gentlemen, I feel like from my experience in this game, and of course the takes that I've been seeing from people as they've been playing the beta, these 3 areas over here, I don't think that there are very many issues at all. This area over here, maybe, right? It could use some refinement and stuff like that. I don't think people have issues with a lot of the stuff in open world or UI and tutorial design, but performance and stability and gacha and character progression, ladies and gentlemen, those look to be the main areas where I see some big fucking problems. A lot of people online complaining about the performance, talking about how both on mobile and other devices, right, not really getting a lot of great things, but it's still somewhat reasonable in how it performs. But the gacha, as I said before, guys, I think it's the worst part about this game. We just took a look at, right, the fact that they don't have a 50-50 on the character banner. Well, did you also take a look at this fact? Guys, did you also take a look at this? The fact that the weapon has the same rates as Wuthering Waves, right? Same exact fucking rates as Wuwa, but you're not guaranteed the weapon until you get to 80 pulls. So this gacha over here for the weapon banner is literally just the Wuwa gacha system, but objectively worse in every single way. And that's just what they're launching with. In a competitive space like this, where Wuthering Waves is one of the biggest games, truly, it is a market leader at this point. And you're deciding to, 2+ years after Wuwa's release, just release an objectively worse system. What are you doing? What are you doing as developers? Just putting in Woowa's weapon banner, but worse. Why does this keep happening? Why do you just put in what other games do, but worse? Because I've done another analysis as well, guys. So imagine in Wuthering Waves, right? On average, assuming you lose a 50-50, and you win a 50-50, 50% of the time, you'll get a character at around 70 pulls. Because it's around a 65 pity, you get the character around 70, 75 pulls. That means if you win one 50-50 and then lose another, and you're getting two characters, on average, it's going to be about 105 pulls per unit. Because your first unit was 70. Your second was 140. You add those two up, it's 210 divided by 2. That's 105 average. Silver Palace just has a 100 pull average for the unit, because that's where the pity is, and there's no pity elsewhere. And then you got a 25-75. Woowa's got a 50-50 while having a pity that's about 5 higher on average for a unit. You can start to see where the system is bullshit, right? Because you also have a guarantee after you lose a 50-50. You don't have it in this game. So you got a 25-75, no 50-50 guarantee, no pity, no soft pity either, just a hard one at 100, but it's roughly the same number of pulls for a 5-star character. You factor in any early pulls that you get on this banner, bro, then it's turning into limited units. Any early pulls on this banner, they're a 25-75, you're probably not going to get the limited unit. And there's also no guarantee either after you lose 25-75s. So it's like objectively worse than Wuthering Waves from this angle too. People have asked me to calculate the worst case scenario. Guys, let's just say you go to 80 pulls straight on Woowa every single time. Then it's 120 pulls per character, right? Then that's not very good either, right? That's not very peachy. But guess what? You want to know what the worst case scenario is in Silver Palace? You lose 99 25-75s in a row. In Wuthering Waves, you would have 49 limited characters. In Silver Palace, you have 0. Because yes, this game allows you to lose 99 25-75s in a row and have 0 limited characters. Well, if you did that in Wuthering Waves, you got 99 5-stars, you would have 49 fucking limited units. So that's the worst case scenarios in both games listed out here. 0 units in Silver Palace, 49 in Woowa. And that's the power of a 50-50 guarantee if we want to talk about worst case scenarios. Bit of a tangent over here. It's not actually 49. It's more like 25. The point still stands. There's no point talking about the worst case scenario because it's just 0 limited units in Silver Palace, while it's going to be a significant number of limited units in basically every other game, including Hoyoverse ones. And unironically enough, probably AKE too. So yeah, that's the situation going on over here, ladies and gentlemen. Just wanted to cut that discussion short real fast because we got a bit derailed by some retarded Silver Palace defenders. So as you can see, the game's already got a pretty toxic community like starting to form already, spreading misinformation and stuff like that. And that's why I feel like you gotta get a good rundown on what is happening real quick, iron out the issues, because this gacha is one of the most cooked gachas I've ever seen. I think it's worse than AKE. I think it's obviously worse than Woowa. And in a lot of ways, I think it can be significantly worse than Honkai Star Rail, Zenless Zone Zero, and God forbid, even Genshin Impact. So it's not just Silver Palace releasing with an objectively worse system than Woowa in every single way 2 years after its release. Some could say it's objectively worse than fucking games released 6 years ago. I don't know how you do it. So now, what is your main goal in Silver Palace? Getting more draws to obtain characters and motives, trying out various combat modes, increasing character friendship, completing journey quests, building up characters and increasing power, exploring the city or open world, leveling up city, or leveling up city affairs. So I think that this is actually like a good question to ask. And I think that this is going to be a really important one for people to keep in mind as they're going through their grinding, right? How does it feel to get to that 100 pity, right? How does it feel when you feel like you've sort of been like lied to by the devs? It's not a 50-50, it's a 25-75, and then you also proceed to lose multiple 25-75s in a row. That is what I feel like every single person should be focusing on when it comes to these servers and when it comes to their gameplay. How does the pulling and the acquisition journey feel? Because that is going to be a core element of a gacha game. A good gacha can't save a game. This is pretty much a fact at this point from everything we've seen. A good gacha system is not enough for a game to succeed, but a bad gacha system will single-handedly end a game. A bad gacha system will single-handedly end a game, but a good system won't make it good. And that's proven by AKE, and it's also proven by NTE. Not really. Look at FGO. Okay, so FGO is like the most dog shit looking game that is like an outlier that it's still in service. So like instead of using the outlier as the example, can we just go with what 99.9% of the space looks like? Like for example, right? I bet you have 7 toes because you're probably a fucking freak because you felt the need to to bring that up, right? Like you're going to go around and say everyone else in the world should have 7 toes like you fucking animal? No. No, because you know having 7 toes is fucking weird. Just like how the fact that FGO is still alive is fucking weird. We good? All right, cool. So yeah. I really, truly do urge every player who's going to be going through that grinding journey, document what feels bad, document what feels not good, and document what makes you want to quit the game. Because guys, if I lost multiple 25-75s on the way to 100, and I knew that in every other game, I'd have multiple 5 stars at that point, that'd make me crash out. I don't care if your fucking pity's 100, bro. That's on average the same as fucking Wuthering Waves, bro. I care that you got a 25-7, you have 50% less rates than the competition. I care that you have no guarantee while the competition does. And I care that, like, there's no mention or talk at all about a soft pity, which the competition fucking has. So it's like, you gotta think about it from a competition perspective. And you could also think about it from this. Is Silver Palace providing you enough across all these other areas to excuse it having a worse gacha system than every other game? Is there enough here and enough here to warrant it being better than it being worse gacha-wise than every other game? I'm not going to answer that question for you, but I think it is something you should think about. Now, which of the following statements best describe your current experience with the overall pacing and content volume of Silver Palace? This is definitely way more of like a gameplay-oriented one that I feel like people are going to experience live. But like I said, I feel like this game at a baseline, its systems and its mechanics, they're not bad. They're actually quite well fleshed out. They're actually good. But the issue is that all of this good over here, it's good to point it out. It's good to identify it, right? But it's still all literally meaningless. Purely hypothetical question. If there is no 25-75, will you make a correction video? Why are you talking about it like a correction video, like I did something wrong? So how about let's just reframe your question in the most accurate way possible. Instead of saying that I'm the one doing something wrong, it'll be a correction video about how the devs fix their wording. This is what I mean by retarded toxic positivity. You're somehow saying the devs messing up is my fault. You're somehow saying the devs not putting a 50-50 here is my fault and that I need to correct myself? Do you see how you worded this question? And how you appear like a fucking retard? Because this is the thing, guys. Not at all. I hope they fix the phrasing. And I hope you fix your fucking phrasing too. Because this is the thing. We're already beginning narratives that this is my fault. Guys, I'm already getting blamed. I'm not even playing the beta. I didn't even sign up for it, bro. How is this? It can't be my fault. But yes, we will make a video talking about how the devs listened if they fix it. I won't be making a video correcting my incorrect take or opinion. I'll make a video talking about how the devs fix the system. That's what I'll do. What a goofy ass fucking way, bro, of like fucking bro, what a goofy ass way of defending the game. Goofy as fuck, bro. Wait, bro, why are you blaming me? What did I do? Bro, I didn't develop this shit, bro. Now we got this. Which of the following statements best describe your experience with Silver Palace? I'm not gonna answer this one. Bro, it's a fucking tutorial, bro. You guys went through it. You guys answered that shit. I bet that one's boring as hell. How would you rate the overall learning curve of Silver Palace? It's a gacha game, bro. It can't be that hard to play. Are there any systems you find confusing or don't know how to use? Ooh. This is good. Everybody, please answer Revelation. No matter what you choose, you need to choose the Revelation system because how else do you describe what the fuck is going on here? Let me just show you this. This alone is enough for you to raise havoc. Featured characters have increased draw rates. That is what is openly advertised on the Vengeful Ants limited time repertoire banner. Featured characters have increased draw rates. Only the 4 stars. The 5-star characters don't. So is this a 25-75 or what? What is it? Nobody knows. Because on the weapon banner, it clearly indicates there's a 50-50. The weapon banner clearly indicates a 50-50. The 4-star characters clearly indicate a 50-50. But then the 5-star characters don't indicate a 50-50. So why is it 50 everywhere else, but then not here? But then suddenly, right, featured characters, is it only these ones or is it that one? Do you see, like, what is this? What is this other than meant to confuse you and meant to mislead you and make you think that you have double the actual chances to get the 5-star that you actually do? Because, guys, you know what this is? It's actually illegal. If people literally think they have a 50% chance of getting something, but the real rate is 25, that's illegal. Guys, that's why gacha developers have to disclose rates in countries. Because if it turns out the actual rates are less than what's advertised, that's not very good. And this is the thing. Surely they're covering themselves, right? By not putting the 50 here. But boy, oh boy, it really looks like there's a 50-50 on the character banner when you see this, right? Because what are you not seeing? Cinderella in the fucking art, bro. Yeah, this is just like the corner of her splash art, bro. So why would you have this if it's not actually true? Is there an increased draw rate for Ashley? Does she actually have a higher rate than other characters? Does she actually have a higher rate than other characters at a baseline? But nobody knows. Nobody knows. Nobody can answer that fucking question, bro. Nobody can answer the question of where it is. What are the rates? And how can you not be sure of whether or not a gacha even has a 50-50, bro? And what the fuck does this up arrow next to Ashley's name even mean? Because I know something about this. The up arrow is showing up for Argos, right? And Argos is definitely a unit available on this fucking banner. And Argos got that 50% rate up increase. It's right there. Argos got it, right? 50% rate up right there. But then Ashley got the triangle up. She got the phalanxes going up, but there's no 50 here. So is this just cosmetic? Bro, what does this do? Because I see a 50 over here that justifies why this is getting rated up. What the fuck is this thing? And so basically, people are just told to pull on this banner, and they don't even know what the rates are and how it works. Guys, how do you release a gacha system like this where people don't even know the rates, and they just, like, pull on it to find out what the rates are? Bro, you're probably going to have to crowdsource if there's a 25-75. Imagine having to crowdsource that there's a 25-75 by taking a look at people's fucking pull records and then, like, extrapolating a data result, a data analysis from that, bro. That feels like a scam. If that's what you need to do to find out the rates, that feels like a scam, bro. That feels like some shit from a gacha in 2010. At least Enfield told you the fucking rates. Enfield told you the rates at the very least. You knew what they were. You knew what they were at least, right? Enfield told them to you right there. At minimum. You know there's a 50-50 in that game. So please, I implore you. This is truly... If there's anything you should be selecting on this question, guys, it is this shit. And I'm glad that they're at the very least introducing this topic there. Because it should be top of mind for them. 1,000,000%. Are there any systems in Silver Palace where you felt stuck or unable to progress? Oh, there we go. Revelation gacha system. Okay. So this is what I'll say. It looks like, at the very least, the Silver Palace developers are allowing people an opportunity to actually give feedback for the gacha. That's good. But one thing that I feel like is missing is an explanation for why people are selecting certain things. Because this is where we're going to start to get a little bit theory crafty. I always feel like there's something manipulative going on with developers like this, where they intentionally put in something giga predatory that's meant to mislead players, and then say they're, like, listening afterwards. Because it reminds me of AKE, where AKE puts in no pity carry forward, all of that, really disgusting things into their gacha system, Arsenal tickets too, and then they, like, pretended they were listening for a bunch of surveys. I'm getting the same vibes from this with intentional obfuscation to hide information and fuck over players. Literally, just to, like, it is just to, like, have players make mistakes due to imperfect knowledge and ignorance. That's all this system is designed to do. Prey on the uninformed and cash a bag off of them. It's not pretty. I don't like it. I think it's very consumer unfriendly. That's why I'm not supporting of it, right? When that's the first iteration, and then you get the, yeah, we're listening, tell us all your problems. I don't really buy it. Maybe that's just me. But that's the vibe that I'm getting over here, where they're like putting the gacha as response to everything, and then they put in the worst system I've seen in the beta. This is like the guy that's torturing you, giving you a feedback form in a survey to find out how he can improve his torture methods for the future. It's like, yeah, my torture is listening, but like, I'm not very happy to answer their question. You know what I mean, right? You know what I mean, right? There you go. Now, are there any systems in Silver Palace where the unlock process or the tutorial interrupted your gameplay or story experience? I actually like this question. I think this is actually a great question, to be honest, because they're looking for ways to like remove the friction from the actual player base. And this is where I'm starting to think that there's maybe a conflict already on the Silver Palace dev side. This looks like, in a lot of ways, a struggle between a game dev and a publisher, where the publisher wants to do the gayest shit possible to fucking ruin the game, and then the game devs actually want to like fix it and do good things. Because questions like this make it seem like these are from the game dev, while others are like, oh yeah, these are from the publisher. And truly, to me, guys, it feels like a battle between them, because I don't think the Silver Palace devs want to do this. I don't think they want to come out with the worst gacha system in the last 10 years. I don't think they want to be considered worse than Hoyoverse, greater than Hoyoverse, greater than Kuro Games, greater than fucking Hypergriff. I don't think they want to be called all these things, but the publishers making them being called all these fucking things because the gacha system it released with is fucking dog shit. And that's what it feels like over here, bro. It's very sad. But yeah, I think this is a good question to ask, and definitely keep an eye out for this on your playthrough, because they're basically trying to make the most seamless experience possible. And it all doesn't matter if your gacha sucks. And for the systems you mentioned, what specifically did you run into? They should be having more questions or follow-ups like this, especially for stuff regarding the gacha system, because you probably want to know firsthand why they feel a certain way about probably the most important aspect of your game, the gacha system. Based on your current experience, which of the following statements reflect how you feel right now? I have gained some understanding of Silvernia and feel very interested in the world. The story is told brilliantly, making me curious for what's next with the detective. The characters have distinctive, varied personalities. The character art is polished, distinctive, and visually striking. The scenes are beautifully crafted and varied with rich atmosphere. Okay, so basically it's just all related to like the gameplay side, the content side. Nothing at all to do with the gacha. And this is truly where you're going to have the opportunity to, I guess, like, give the game a feedback that is different based on your tastes. This might be a situation where everything's a 5 for you, right? Or maybe it's a 3 in the middle for everything. Or maybe it's a 1 on the side. Or maybe it's a mix, right? But this is obviously, like, a very personal, subjective one. And it's going to be different for most players. So, yeah, answer that one as you will. But definitely make sure, you know, the game's going in the right direction for you. Now, which of the following design elements make you feel immersed in the game? Core rules, overall cohesion, world ecology, scene design, environmental distinctives, narrative. Okay. This is definitely a game dev question. This is definitely a game dev question. What the fuck is that guy talking about? Devs might just be doing it for gacha's sake. Let me know how many times you've heard about a game being ruined by publishers. And let me know how many times you hear about a dev ruining their own game. Let's just go with the least likely one first as a way to excuse Silver Palace, guys. Yeah, let's go with the one that we never hear about ever and use that as the explanation. Yeah, that surely makes a ton of sense. It happens so many times that a publisher ruined a game. Yeah, that's what everybody sort of knows. That's what everybody sort of knows. Now, the reason why I said game dev question is because these clearly show that they're looking to craft the best overall experience possible. But I don't think these guys recognize not a lot of this stuff matters that much when there's such a big ticket item like the gacha system that you're still just refusing to really adequately address. Yes, it's been mentioned a couple of times, but there's not really been anything in depth on it yet. And that's what I feel like is kind of like the issue because, well, the gacha system, it's such an important thing in these games because so many have released with bad ones. And so, truly, people will just drop the game on the basis of the gacha being good, and the gacha's not fucking good in this game. So why are we just hand-waving it over here, choosing to kind of, like, stick our head in the mud? Oh, hey, I'm playing hide-and-seek, guys. Yeah, I'm a hide-and-seek world champion, because I can't see you. That means you can't see me, bitch. I just close my eyes like this all the time. I'm undefeated. I'm also deaf, too. Guys, that's what it feels like right here. Because yes, it was mentioned a couple of times, but it was also thrown into a bucket with like 40 other things in the fucking game. Where's the question on the biggest issue in the game? Like, look, it's just being caught under like this catch-all. And that's the only time where it's mentioned. I don't know. It's very disappointing to me so far to see what's going on over here. Because, like, how is that not one of the immediate things that you're making a priority? How is it not? I don't know. Anyways, now, how satisfied are you with combat? Okay. I think it's good that they're asking this one. So I want a question like this about the gacha. Because the combat in this game, right, is another sort of important topic that people have said, oh, I don't really like the combat that much, blah, blah, blah. And they're making the time to address it here with fully fleshed out responses. This is good, because this is an issue people are talking about in the game. Are they going to do this with the gacha system? And if they don't, I think we know what the answer is. If they don't ask questions like this about the gacha, we know what the answer is. A lot of great questions, though, about the combat. That's good. Now it's just UI design. Now it's asking about future content and, like, new features. Now it's talking about, like, oh, like, what are the other media that you like? Sherlock Holmes, variety shows, other gacha games, blah, blah, blah. And nothing about the gacha. Nothing about the gacha. Not a single thing, despite launching with one of the worst ones we've ever seen in the space. No specific questions, just kind of, like, caught under a catch-all, probably so that they can, like, pretend it's not an issue, it's not a concern, so that they can just launch with this. Players can get fucked over, and then we could just have another, oh, MTash keeps losing 50-50s in Arknight's Enfield, except this time it's going to be MTash keeps losing the 25-75 in Silver Palace. Because that's what it is. And losing the 25-75 in Silver Palace. Bro, what the fuck? I'm sorry. I'm just disappointed. I knew this was going to happen. It's just disappointing to see it happen day one. I think this just means they don't want to change it. This is what they want to go with, and they don't even want to entertain feedback regarding it. Launching with the worst gacha system ever, and they just don't want to entertain feedback on it. It is what it is, brother. This is really sad. This is really sad. But that's just my take. And obviously, this is all subject to change. But this is a really bad look early on in the closed beta. And I said many times, there's a reason why I don't want to be sponsored for this closed beta. And it was all entirely just because of the gacha system. Just entirely because of the gacha system. It is what it is. Let me know what you all thought. Peace out.